Hi, in this video I'll be demonstrating my version of Douglas Grant's round version, the version he invented of a, well, I think it's a version of a Spanish braid. It's an unusual braid. The way I braid it is very similar to the way I have already demonstrated how to braid the 7-loop, what I call the 7-loop Spanish braid. So this will not be in as slow motion as that previous video. You need to learn that one first, because this is a kind of an odd variant of that braid. Douglas actually does it differently than I do, and he would have to make his own video for that. This is the way I find easier to braid it. So I just wanted to warn you that it won't be in extreme slow motion. This is not a beginning braid. You should really learn how to do a 7-loop square braid first, then learn how to do the 7-loop Spanish braid that I have videos for, that makes a unified, kind of rectangular and cross-section braid. This one will be roundish or squarish, and it's a very cool braid. The color pattern that we're going to do, that I'm going to be demonstrating here, is one with bicolor loops. Each of my loops is half blue. They're tied together at the bottom. The other half of the loop is five of the loops are half blue and half off-white, and 2 of the loops are half blue and half black. Those 2 are together in these fingers, and they will be together in the braid. This braid has a different loop order than the regular Spanish braid. The loop order of this braid, if you want to align the loops, make your own color composition, you can find on my blog. These videos are just adjuncts to my blog tutorials. So I have the order for how to place them on your fingers to get the order you want in your braid. I have that on the blog post about Doug's braid. Okay, for Doug's version of the Spanish braid, you will start with 3 loops on the left hand and 3 on the right as before. However, you will have a loop on the left ring finger, and you will have no loop on the left D finger, the left little finger. And this is how the braiding moves go. I've already started this braid, and I've already made a loop and now joined my braid with together. The upper and lower surfaces are joined in the structure that we're going to make, a round braid. These will be the braiding moves for it. Oh, for this pattern, you want to have the left loops have the blue, start with the left loops having the blue shanks uppermost, and the right loops having the blue shanks lower, and the light colored shanks uppermost. I have my 4 off-white shanks up on the right hand, and on the left hand it's black, black, and off-white, counting from the index, middle, and ring finger. That's how to set up for the pattern I will be making. You can make many other patterns. Okay, so the way the braiding moves go, the first move, your right index finger will go through C and B, and it will take A. I turn all the, oh no, I'm getting mixed up with the last one. It's going to have no turn. So go through all of them, take the A loop with no turn, put it on D. Then I shift the B loop up. My B finger will now be the next operator finger, the next fetcher, the one that's going to get a loop. It's going to go through C and D and through D of the opposite hand. This is the odd move here, and it will take the next loop with a turn. I tend to turn from above. You may prefer to turn from below. Either way is fine, but stick to one way within the braid. So I'm taking this loop from above, which will turn it over. I'm bringing it through all of those loops, which sometimes is a bit odd. Then I shift the D loop of this hand up 1 position, freeing my D finger. Tighten. I'm halfway through the first cycle. I'm now going to repeat these moves on the other side, And since I've shifted this loop up, I'm ready to do in mirror image the same moves I just did, the same two moves. I'm going to reach with my first finger through the first two loops. Take the index loop, the A loop, from within the loop, thereby not turning it, and place it onto D. Shift the B loop up and get ready to go through C and D, the C and D loop, and through D of the other hand to take the C loop with a turn. As this loop turns over, you'll notice I'm taking the blue shank will now, let's get it through that one, will now be lowermost on the finger. In fact, this is what we want to see with each move, that it is always on the right hand, it is always the light colored shank that is up and the dark colored shank that is, I should say the blue shank that is down. It's always the blue shank that is down on the right hand, and the blue shank is always uppermost on the left hand. That's how I know I'm staying within my pattern. Okay, one cycle is done. I know that was a little funky. I'll try and be a little clearer the second time through. So I shift up. Now I'm ready for the second cycle. My first finger is going to go through the first two loops, through the last loop, and take it with no turn. Place it on D. Shift one loop up. B will now go through three loops. It'll go through the two on its own hand and the D loop of the other hand, and it will take C with a turn. So that C loop comes over and the blue shank turns uppermost. So again, all the blue shanks are uppermost on the left hand. As it does so, my D loop is already shifting up there. That's where it belongs. Tighten. Second half of this cycle, let's get in the camera here, through all the loops, take the A loop without a turn, put it on D, shift B up. B goes through three loops, takes the opposite C loop with a turn. Then the D loop shifts up to C, tighten. Next cycle, I'm just going to now try and do it slow and clearly, but not explaining everything anymore. So, first transfer, oops, no turn. Shift, second transfer, turn, shift, third transfer, no turn, shift, and last transfer in the cycle, turn, shift, tighten. Next cycle, no turn, shift, turn, and shift, tighten. Next transfer, no, you can see that, no turn, shift, turn. Sometimes I have to lift that over there. And shift, tighten. Next cycle, no turn, shift, turn, and shift, tighten. No turn, shift, turn, shift, tighten. Next cycle, no turn, shift, turn, shift, tighten. no turn, shift, turn, shift, tighten, and next cycle, no turn, shift, turn, get that over, shift, tighten, no turn, shift, turn, shift, tighten. Next cycle. I'll go a little faster, not super fast, but I want to get to where you can see this pattern emerging. Because this is a really neat pattern. I like this one, and this braid really has a lot of great patterns. Oops, I'm starting to do the other Spanish braid. There we go. If you were to turn this first transfer, basically to do all of them turned, with bicolor loops you would get a very different pattern. With single colored loops, you would not. It would be almost indistinguishable from the way we're doing it. With only the transfers that the middle finger, that the B finger is doing, get a turn. With this, and this is the way Doug described a braid to me, the way he does it. I felt weird about that one. Let me just get that back. It's supposed to have a turn, and everything looks fine. Okay, so with bicolor loops, it makes a big difference to the pattern whether you turn or not, because that changes the color. If you're using loops of just one color, it will not make a difference to the pattern whether you turn or not. And for this braid, it really doesn't make much difference to the way the braid looks at all. If you were doing single colored loops and you turned all the transfers, it would kind of be fine. I think it maybe lies a little better, is a little this way, but I haven't really determined that. Okay, let's look at where the pattern is turning out. This is a variation of what I call an edge pattern, because it has vertical or lengthwise, however you want to think of it, get the header cord out of, stripes of blue. I don't know if this is focusing very well, and alternating with, they aren't off-white because I have two of the loops have black instead of off-white, so it's alternating with kind of a stripe of off-white with this cool black speckling in it on the other two sides of the braid. So it's two blue stripes, one on one side, one on the other, and then two white and black lengthwise stripes or columns. It'll look more, the pattern will be more apparent when we go a little further. And I have other possible patterns for this braid on my blog tutorial for it. Basically, you want every now and then to check and make sure that for your pattern that all the blue is up on the left and down on the right, and that's why you're getting that lengthwise striping of blue. And as I said, I know this is this is not a beginning tutorial. This is the slow-mo for this braid I showed in the first, I know this is a little bit different, but you need to learn the regular Spanish braid first, and that has plenty of slow-mo. So let's just get a little further so we can really see this pattern. And I'll also show you or try to show the interesting twisting that's going on in this braid. This braid is not it isn't a normal braid, which is hard to explain why. There's a twisting thing going on within the braid, a linking of some of the loops that's kind of anomalous, a little weird, but that's what makes it fill out and be round. Okay, the pattern's starting to come through here. Oops. It's a little tricky if you've just been doing the regular Spanish braid to switch to this one. In a certain way they're very alike, but you have to remember not to shift down. Okay, let's see. Oh, and now I'm back at what I considered my starting point too. So this is a good place to stop. The way I loaded the loops on when I started, I had the two that are half black on the A and B finger of the left hand. So now I'm back to my starting position. So here, this is the braid pattern. I hope it shows. It's an automatic focus, and I never am sure where it is automatically focusing. But here we go, and I'll twist it a little bit so you see this. Hopefully, you see that cool lengthwise striping pattern happening, and this almost checkerboard-like black design, black and white or black and off-white design. I think looks really neat. Okay, so that's the. Oh, I forgot to show you the divided version. The divided version is comes out looking rather. The two halves look rather square. There's instead of flat. And it's just, as you might imagine if you'd seen the other videos, it's you just do all the transfers with no turn, and that makes the braid divide into an upper and lower surface like that. You can make a buttonhole or a loop at the top or bottom of your braid. Let me get this out. Take the header cord off. My blog explains, with no videos yet, but explains. Oh, well, I have one video. A few ways to make a loop top with no loose ends. This one has, since I have all bicolor loops, I do have, and an odd number of loops, I do have to have two loose ends. There doesn't seem to be a way to avoid that. You can later sew these down, hide them within the braid. Okay, thank you for watching. That's Douglas Grant's. He calls it I don't know how to say it actually, the Spiaggian eagle braid, because his design that he came up with single color loops has a kind of an eagle-like design to it, which you'll see if you go to my blog. The link to my blog tutorials is on should be accompanying this video with the information that goes with it, and it's on my home YouTube page. Thanks for watching.